back to KidsAlive Church. I'm Teacher Joanna and this is Squeaky the Squirrel, and we are continuing our series on the Christmas story. So last week we learned about Mary, how she heard from an angel, then she visited her cousin Elizabeth. Today we're going to talk about Joseph, Mary's fiancé. So when Joseph heard this news from Mary, do you think he was happy? Do you think he was ecstatic? Do you think he was nervous? Do you think he was scared? What do you think he was? He was actually pretty upset. Okay? And so, Joseph went to God and he was like, God, what's going on? But he went to bed. He was upset. Alright? He was upset. And he went to bed. And then God sent an angel to come and speak to Joseph. So when Joseph was sleeping, an angel appeared to him in a dream and said, Hey Joseph, your fiancée Mary is going to have a baby. And you will name him Jesus, Emmanuel, which means God with us. And so the angel basically told him that he should not break up with her. Because Joseph was thinking, you know what? I love Mary a lot, but I don't want to disgrace her. I don't want to make her ashamed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate from her. I'm going to break up with her quietly. I'm not going to tell anybody. We're just going to do it quietly. I'm just going to break up with her. But the angel told him not to. And so when Joseph woke up in the morning, he went to Mary and he said, you know what, Mary? I'm going to marry you. And we're going to have this baby. And we're going to name him Emmanuel, God with us. How amazing is that? So what can we learn from Joseph? These 3 things. Number 1 is always be forgiving. Even if you feel the person doesn't deserve forgiveness. Always be forgiving. Now Joseph, remember this, Joseph didn't know whether Mary was telling him the truth, but he chose to forgive. Meaning, when he wanted to break up with her, he wanted to do it quietly. Now, you see, if Joseph had unforgiveness in his heart and bitterness in his heart, he could have easily said, Hey, everybody, look, this woman, she's pregnant. I'm not even married with her and she's pregnant. What is this nonsense? He could have done that. But he chose to forgive. Always be forgiving. Even though we don't see the whole story yet, we choose to forgive. You know what? When we forgive someone, we also feel better about things. Yeah? Number 2, obedience is not always easy. Now, Joseph had to obey God. He chose to obey God, but it's not always easy. Now, I bet he felt like, oh no, I'm not even the father of the child, but he had to choose to obey. It's not an easy task. But you know what? The reward was good. He could now raise Jesus in his house. He could bring Jesus into the world together with Mary and face what come may. Yeah? And number 3, trust in God's promises. Even though things doesn't look like how you intended it to be, trust in God's promises. Now, when the whole pandemic happened, a lot of things happened. Everything seemed upside down, topsy-turvy. Suddenly you had to study from home. Suddenly you couldn't even see your grandparents. Suddenly you cannot fly anywhere. Suddenly so many things happen. But you know what? We continue to trust in God's promises because God's promises are always good. God's promises are always good. So I want to encourage you children, as you go on through this year, this coming year, this Christmas season, trust in God's promises. Reach out to people who don't know Him yet, because you don't know how much your obedience brings peace to those around you. Amen? Now Tiana's going to tell us the memory verse for this week.
Hi KidsAlive! Today's memory verse is Matthew 1 verse 24. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord had commanded him and took Mary home as his wife. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you so much, Tiana. That was good. The memory verse is Matthew chapter 1 verse 24. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord had commanded him and took Mary home as his wife. So guys, I hope that you learned this week, the most important thing is obedience. Obedience. So keep being obedient, keep being loving, keep being forgiving, and God will bless you abundantly. I love you guys, and Squeaky and I are gonna say bye-bye.